Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
This is the glorious one, Bobby Roode, and you're watching Going In Raw.
What's up, it's your girl, Sasha Banks, the Legit Boss, and you're watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, taped live at Twitch, at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, and of course available in the audio realm wherever podcasts can be found. If you're listening to my voice right now, leave us a rating, review, or a comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, by all means, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. Speaking of subscribe buttons, Larson, we're at 194,000. The most subscribed to channel, I think, in the history of YouTube.
Incorrect. There's channels out there that have us outpaced by several magnitudes, man. We're way behind them.
I just, I was going to try to throw that one out there, see if it stuck.
I mean, no one's going to buy that. It's not conceivable.
Didn't think it was right. Anyways.
And there's channels back in like 2008 that had way more subscribers than we have now.
It is a milestone for us, though, that we have not reached yet. And I want to say thanks to all the friends. Point. What's that?
So it's worthy of it. So it's taken about 2 years for us to get to this point, so it is worthy of celebration.
Many people on YouTube have been around for much longer than 2 years without reaching 194,000 subs. I imagine. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, thanks so much for that. Also, thanks to Adrian C., Omega Advent, and apparently several other friendos whose names I am not familiar with for getting us our latest cameo from an NXT superstar. Now we have two of these lined up for the NXT intro this coming Wednesday, or Thursday rather. Of course, on News Brief today, we talked briefly about the sad news about Shad Gaspard. It doesn't look like it's gotten better. I think his family is supposed to be issuing some sort of statement soon. So we'll keep apprised of that tomorrow on News Brief. We'll probably give the latest on that. But that's really sad stuff. A lot of superstars are coming out and offering their thoughts and prayers and whatnot. But we do have a Raw to review.
We do.
Before we do that, today on Friendo Club TV, another. Well, today wasn't a great episode, but it was a serviceable episode. I had a couple of the Friendos zoom in. The Enforcer, thanks to the Enforcer for coming by. Tim Spulak, thanks so much for coming by. Larson couldn't make it today. I know you had some business to take care of.
I had to step away for a few, and it was unavoidable. So I appreciate the Enforcer, Tim, stepping in my stead, holding down the fort and rocking another quality episode of Friendo Club TV. I should be back full throttle tomorrow for everything.
Yeah, tomorrow we got Ask Steven Larson. So you can find Friendo Club TV. It's like our underground TV channel where our YouTube channel, well, we call it TV, so it sounds cooler that way, dude.
You can to FCYT.
Yeah, something like that. You can get Friendo Club, access Friendo Club TV via a sub on Twitch. Any sub. Could be one of those free Prime subs. $5 and up on Patreon. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Or YouTube channel memberships. All you got to do is click on join, and you'll get access to that. Couple new patrons, Lyle and Harrison.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your support. We definitely appreciate it. What'd you think of Raw tonight? We got a new... I didn't really know. There wasn't anything like hugely buzzworthy about the episode, but there were a few significant plot points. We have a new challenger for Drew McIntyre. Austin Theory got kicked out of one faction and joined up with another faction. Asuka has her first challenger. So we had events take place. It's just none of them were all that surprising or like big, oh my God moments.
Yeah, there's nothing terribly monumental. I thought even the War Raiders Street Profit stuff was still not great. A leap ahead from what we saw last week.
I'll be honest with you. I laughed at the punchline. I laughed at the end. I laughed when the cop showed up and said Ivar was cute and Eric wasn't. Then
Montez's song was great.
Montez, that is because it's like something I would do. Stimulus.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. I thought that was, I don't know, it was a lot less.
I felt like the basketball stuff at segment 2 kind of overstayed its welcome. And they kept on adding different, because there was more people involved, adding different elements to this. So it didn't ever feel stale. Mm-hmm. But the basketball thing kind of felt stale very early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. So yeah, I don't know. It was a quality episode that I think would have, again, there's something. We mentioned this on Mailbag today, but not a news brief. But WWE.com had a survey out saying, "Hey, would you prefer to see Raw and SmackDown and NXT with wrestlers in the crowd? Would that enhance your experience?" And I feel like this is one of those that just would have been, like it really needed a crowd. Some of the things they're doing just kind of needed a crowd, really to get over, I think. But I don't know. They're doing what they can. Let's talk about, I guess, the beginning of the episode. Well, we had a Becky Lynch video package. We're going to get one of these every week.
I feel like if it wasn't the same one that was on SmackDown, it was pretty darn similar.
Yeah, it was pretty close. After that, so we've got this match coming up at Backlash. The greatest wrestling match.
Oh, gosh. Those new Backlash graphics look great, though.
No, they do. They look terrific.
Graphics, they look fantastic.
They're all like textured nice and stuff.
Yeah, they look really good.
And, of course, yeah, they've upgraded them because it'll be the event that will go down in wrestling lore, Larson, as the greatest wrestling match in history.
There's got to be some joke. Are they building this up all at the end for Randy to use like a foreign object to win or something?
Is he just going to come out with a kendo stick? Is that what's going to like? It's going to be 2 minutes into it, and he's just going to destroy Edge with a kendo stick.
It's going to be. They're doing this as some sort of gag. That's what it feels like. This is a rib. This feels like they're ribbing us, to be honest. Because like last night when Charlie said it, she said it kind of last week, self-consciously.
Yeah.
Like she said it, realized, oh, well, that's a weird way to hype a match. But then they're doubling down on it. So it seems like that was direction last week. There's a couple times this night they mentioned that it had potential to be the greatest wrestling match of all time or ever or something like that. So they're building some sort of rib, some sort of, I don't know what it's going to be. But in the end, Orange is not going to win with wrestling.
It'd be like a
this is like a weird meta way to get heat on Randy Orton. They're going to promise the best wrestling match ever. They're going to put forth a solid effort, and Orton's going to use something dirty to win, outside the span of a straight up wrestling match.
That's got to be it. That's got to be it. I mean, I find it difficult to believe these guys are gonna like. What if they're both like low key Zack Sabre Juniors? What if they're just like insane mat wrestlers and we never knew that about them? Wouldn't that be crazy? What if they're just putting on like sequence after sequence after sequence? It's like a PWG match.
That'd be great.
I mean, yeah. I think you're right. I think it is just. I think it's a goof. They're setting it up to be one thing. I think Orton's gonna have a kendo stick or something. I don't know.
Chair or something.
So Asian Murray here in Twitch says their match is just a backstage segment of them crapping in a handbag. Yeah. There we go. There's something we could power rank. All the things that this isn't going to be a game of basketball.
Yeah, I know. Axe throwing. So Orton came out and do an interview. Charlie asked him to explain his challenge to Edge, and he's like, why is the concept of a straight-up wrestling match so hard to understand?
Which is a valid question. She's like,
it is a valid
why
question.
This particular match? It's a wrestling. We're literally about to have 7 of them tonight.
Yeah, he says, what is the second W and WWE stands for wrestling? And he came back to what he said last week. Edge was the better man at Mania, not the better wrestler. Randy says, and I'm going to prove it. And no one can do what he does in the ring. He made a comparison between athletes when they enter other sports in the WWE, the hard time they have adapting. They can't do what we as wrestlers do. And he said, taking that a bit further, no one can do what I can do. So wrestlers are like above, in Randy's estimation, like other athletes. He's above all the other wrestlers.
Right.
And then he talks to camera, says, I'm going to talk to you, Edge. I know why you didn't accept my challenge. Doubt. Your grit and your passion have faded away, and all that remains is doubt. Edge comes to the ring. He says, Randy, you spoke a lot of truth last week. Orton is playing chess. So Edge, like, I can't rush into my next move. And then Edge says that this isn't the life that Randy wanted. Wrestling was his backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he's different than everybody else in that locker room because he doesn't care. All he cares about is paycheck. He didn't dream of becoming a WWE champion as a kid like Edge did. He didn't save up his money. He didn't cry when he won his first Intercontinental Championship because that title meant you were going to be the workhorse of the company. And Edge, as an aside, says, "Oh, I beat you for that belt in 2004." Says one of our better matches. And he said, "Randy, you never had to fight back from adversity. You weren't forced to retire." He says, "Randy, you don't love the sport like I do, like the rest of that locker room does." And Randy cuts him off. It's like, "All right, just give me the answer. Tired of hearing all this. Answer my challenge." And Edge shouts, "Yes!"
Yeah,
in his face, basically.
He answered like he was answering, hey, do you want to have a Hell in a Cell match, or are you man enough to do a death match or something? He was like, yes. It's like, well, it's just a wrestling match. That happens all the time.
Edge, please answer Randy's challenge with the appropriate amount of passion and intensity for a straight-up standard wrestling match. I accept your challenge, Randy.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Sure, why not? So Randy kind of has a bit of a smirk, a little bit of smile, and just kind of, as a Viper would, slithers out of the ring.
Yeah,
and leaves.
So
he's got a card up. He's got a card up his sleeve. Something's going on.
Yeah, it's called the kendo stick, man,
or a chair,
something like that. After that, we had a recap of a kendo stick tied to a chair, with like nails on it. Seth took out Ray's eyeball.
That was last week.
That was last week. They recapped it. And then we had Seth and Buddy backstage, and Seth has now. Buddy, did Buddy have like the full stained glass sleeves on his jacket? This is a new outfit, huh?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's very Sidekick. It's like super branded Sidekick. Like I
like how colorful it is.
No, he's branded as Seth's T-shirt. That's what he's branded as.
It looks great. Like the color palette is great. You don't like red and orange together. That's why you don't like it.
I like red and orange just fine. Philosophically, I just have an issue with it being he's just Seth's T-shirt as human person.
You do understand that he's the disciple.
I have a problem with that. Yeah, no, I have a problem with the entire thing, to be honest with you. Because, dude, what do you think when you think disciple?
Beefcake.
Yeah, exactly. It's the worst.
No, it's not. No, I mean, that was such a narrow little period of Beefcake's career. It was such a short little thing.
It was a really short period. He looked cool. That was like the coolest look he ever had.
Yeah, he had that huge beard.
That big beard.
He was pretty jacked.
Yeah, he was rad. Remember when Hogan called him a puppy dog?
Rude. We met Beefcake. He seemed like a really nice guy.
He was the sweetest guy. I could see really why he'd call him a puppy dog, though. He has like puppy dog eyes.
Yeah. Seth said he's had a revelation. He wants to tell the world. He said, buddy, let's take a walk.
Yeah. Before we continue, though, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Raycon. Larson, when you're sitting in front of your computer recording one of our shows or listening to some new jams, maybe the Last Dance playlist, do you actually want to listen to what you're listening to, or do you want to listen to whatever your kids or your wife are doing?
You know me, Steve. When I'm sitting here working, I want to concentrate on what I'm doing, and that means I need a great pair of earbuds to make sure I actually hear what I'm trying to do. But did I drop hundreds of dollars on a pair? Oh, no. I checked out some wireless earbuds from Raycon. Raycon earbuds start at half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and they sound just as great as the other top brands you know.
Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet. With 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a compact, comfortable design that gives you a great noise-isolating fit.
And unlike some of those other wireless options, Raycon earbuds are stylish and discreet. That means no dangling wires or stems to distract while working out or recording a podcast like we're doing right now. You've probably seen celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, J.R. Smith, and company co-founder Ray J wearing their Raycons. Now you can pick up a pair and see what the hype is all about.
That's right. Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Right now, get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/raw. That's BUY, raycon.com/raw for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/raw. I was wearing some on my jog today, man. I love my Raycons. They're absolutely fantastic.
They're
They
great.
fit in my. I got weird ears, and they fit perfectly in my ears. They're great. I love them so much. Anyways, I do have weird ears, man. I have like cavernous ears. Yeah.
Really?
It's something you didn't know about me, huh?
No, I didn't know that you had cavernous ears.
I do. Anyways, after that, we had a Seth promo, and he's like, in life, sometimes you have to lose who you are to truly find yourself. He talks about when he lost to Drew McIntyre at Money in the Bank. Part of Seth believed he had lost everything at that point. He fell into a dark place, one he didn't even know if he'd ever escape. But he says, without the darkness, there can be no light. And he has seen the light, and that's thanks to one man, Rey Mysterio. And he says what happened to Rey was unfortunate but necessary, a sacrifice for the greater good. It was the moment he needed for clarity to be the leader he was meant to be. And then he goes to the camera, he speaks to Rey, and he tells him soon enough he'll understand that what happened was a blessing in disguise. He tells Rey, you're welcome. Umberto, his music, remember Alberto Cabrillo? Remember that guy?
Yeah, his music's not the Dolly Goss song anymore, though, is it?
No, it hasn't been Dolly Goss in sadly a long time.
His shirt still says Dolly Goss.
The song still has the lyric Dolly Goss in it, but it's not the cool song Dolly Goss.
That was a good song.
They got rid of that when he came to Raw. It sucked.
Umberto comes out to the stage. He asks Seth if he thinks anyone believes him. Cabrillo says, Rey, he's loved by millions. Rey is Humberto's idol. Calls Seth a coward. Gets in the ring. About to step up to Seth. Murphy steps in front of him. Seth's like, yeah, I respect you, Cabrillo. You're out here standing up for Rey, your idol. But if he's out there for a fight, because Seth is dressed in a nice suit. It's like, I'm not dressed for a fight. Buddy is, though. He'll fight you. He's got a match against Alistair later, but he'll throw down right now.
Yeah, at that point, shouldn't Murphy have been like, hey, Seth, I'm supposed to have one match tonight. No,
man, he looks like Seth Tron. He's a disciple. He'll do whatever he wants.
Seth, can we talk about this feast? But no, he didn't. Anyways, but before we got to that match, we had a Liv Morgan.
Is this the order of events? Because I lost my internet during this point, so I didn't see this match. Or I know there's a Liv Morgan promo that happened, and this Murphy versus Cabrillo match.
I don't know. I have no idea what order things take place. I watched it from beginning to end, but I don't know if they had a Liv Morgan promo smack in the dab in the middle of this.
Well, sometimes they'll tease a match, go to commercial, come back, and it'll be a different thing, and then they'll go to the match.
Yeah, no, they totally do that. You might be right.
I don't know.
Man, here's the thing. If you don't know, just roll with it. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, sorry, I called you out. Well, someone will mention in the comments, like, these guys, you watch the show, they got the rundown of the show wrong.
So what? The comments have said far worse than that.
Well, that speaks to our legitimacy and credibility as journalists.
There was a Liv Morgan promo, though, and she talked about her mom and how she never stopped fighting for something, and then that she doesn't stop fighting, and then she wiped away a tear. Somebody on Twitter made fun of it and said she wiped away a tear that wasn't there. But you know what? Damn it. Like, she didn't actually cry.
Oh.
Anyways. So, yeah, I thought that was decent enough. It was fun.
Yeah, everything, man, the stuff I saw on Twitter about people saying it was pretty good.
Okay, cool. Well, you have a better timeline than I have. I have complainers, I guess, on mine.
I try to keep my timeline positive.
I try to also, but, man, it's not easy these days. After that, maybe we had Murphy versus Alberto Cabrillo. I like this note here. Lost internet, but Murphy won. Murphy won because Umberto took his eye off the prize. He had it on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins caused a distraction. Murphy gave him his finisher and won. Cool. After that, we had Charlotte promo. And she's hyping the match.
She's the hardest working woman in all of wrestling because she works 3 days a week.
She works 3 whole days a week, sometimes in matches that last as long as 15 minutes. So, man, she might be busted 45-minute work weeks, man. That's insane.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. I've seen her Instagram posts, her hugging up with Andrade, the U.S. champion. She gets plenty of rest in. Anyways. She hypes her match against, of course, Brand versus Brand Invitational on SmackDown this Friday. That's going to be actually a pretty good match, probably. And she says she gets to teach Bayley that there are levels to being a champ. Easy, medium, legend.
I just think of that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer is doing all the levels in his apartment.
Anyway, she calls out Ruby Riott. She says, Ruby Riott, I know you got something to say to me. So why don't you come out here and let me hear what it is. Ruby comes to the ring. We have a match.
We do have a match. It's a good match. Short match, but a good match. Early on, Charlotte's just laying into Ruby all over the place with chops. Ruby ducks one, so Charlotte chops the ring post. Ruby lands some strikes. In the end, though, Charlotte just rams her into the ring post. And then eventually Ruby starts working over Charlotte's hand, and she's trying to do like a roll-up thing, and Charlotte stomps her a bunch. Ruby goes for a right kick. Charlotte catches that, hits her with a boot, locks in the figure eight. Ruby taps, and at the end, Charlotte, when she was bridging over for the figure eight, she started the bridge with both hands and then lifted up the bad hand. So she's essentially bridging with one hand, which is actually pretty darn impressive. It was a match where the outcome was in no way in doubt. They tried to tell a little story. They followed through to the end. It wasn't bad. It was fine.
That first chop on Ruby connected. It was loud.
Yeah.
It's like they have, I don't know how they would do that, but it's like they got Gene Hackman in from The Conversation and had him mic up the chops because, oh my God.
Even Owens' chops were super loud.
I know. It was awesome.
Empty arena shows, man. They're giving us nothing else. It's just full volume chops.
Yeah, right.
And I'm there for it.
Yeah, I'm into that, man. After that, we had. Go ahead.
No, it's a fun match. Ruby got some offense in. Charlotte booked like Charlotte, where she kind of barely sells anything and getting the win.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Like all this year, she barely sells.
Yeah, they're lining her up for something, man, because she's literally eating the entire women's divisions on all three shows. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's Rhea, but I feel like it's something bigger than that. I don't know.
I mean, it'd be Ronda.
It could be. I mean, if they already have a deal in place for Ronda to come back, I mean, they had a singles match at, was it SummerSlam last year? Or
Survivor Series. Becky couldn't go.
That's right.
She got concussed.
So, yeah, it kind of feels like they're setting up for something big like that. It wouldn't surprise me if I imagine the SmackDown match is going to be a wonk finish, but it also wouldn't surprise me. I mean, obviously they're going to do the thing where they book Charlotte to she is supposed to win the match, but either Bayley gets out of it from a wonk finish or Charlotte might actually just win that thing because she has been on a tear.
Charlotte might win it because Sasha gets involved in some capacity.
Yeah.
That's entirely possible.
So anyways, after that we had a Lashley interview where he's talking to Charlie and then MVP comes in and interrupts. MVP's doing really good work these days. And he tells Charlie that him and Lashley have been talking and he's like, you know what, I'm not going to do business because Bob is working with clowns like R-Truth and Lana. He's like, your wife. Of course, Lashley's offended by that. MVP's like, hold on, man. I don't want you to put me in that full Nelson, but imagine locking in the full Nelson on the WWE champion. Something you haven't had a chance to do in 13 years. And then MVP asks Bob Lashley, when is Lashley going to free Lashley? That needs to be a shirt, man.
Heck yeah, man.
Free Lashley.
I really like this MVP Bob Lashley team up that's going on.
Yeah, me too.
Really good.
MVP's got some gravitas.
He does. Next, we had a recap of the Street Profits and War Raiders playing some hoops. And then the Profits show up for this axe throwing thing, and they walk into a full-on Renaissance fair type scene with Vikings and such. Ray Rose like, hey, I know you guys like the smoke, so I present to you the smoke, and it's just a fire. And at first, Dawkins is like, no, that's not what we mean. And Ford like, hold up, we walked into this thing with a bunch of Vikings. We're not going to offend them by denying their gift.
Yeah, they're holding axes. So why would you want to make them mad? I did appreciate, look, we're going to break this thing down because it's our job. So I'm going to tell you what I liked about it. I liked the changed up dynamic. How, like, when they were playing basketball, the Street Profits were doing nothing but talking shit, which is a tradition of the basketball court, of course.
Of course.
But when the Vikings show up, they're very welcoming of the Street Profits. They're saying, hey, this is our realm. Welcome for the festivities. Here's some smoke for you. Not understanding that smoke is a metaphor. And so no, I thought they switched it up a little bit. I thought that was good. You know, the lady on the horse was pretty funny. I love that there was a horse in it, by the way.
That's your new thing.
That's my new thing. So at that point, Hansen throws an axe and he gets a bullseye. And Montez is like, I don't want to do this. And then Dawkins is like, nah, man, we got this. We could do this.
Yeah. After that, we had Kairi Sane introducing Asuka for a celebration for winning that Raw Women's title. Asuka comes out. Kairi presents her with some flowers. Asuka's effusive with her thanks and gratitude. She is now a Grand Slam champion. She starts dancing. Kairi gets a recorder out of somewhere and starts playing it. And then Nia Jax has to be a party pooper and interrupt the party. She's like, what are you celebrating for? There's nothing to celebrate. You're handed the title. Forgetting that she climbed the ladder and grabbed the briefcase. She technically did win a match to win that title, so she wasn't handed the belt. She said, anyways, you're going to be replaced pretty soon. And she says, when Nia says when she becomes champ, they're going to have a real party. And then Kairi gets in Nia's face. And then Nia says, whoa, chill, bro.
Yeah, Nia was oddly out of character, and it was kind of funny.
Yeah. And then Asuka lays her out.
Yeah.
She beats the hell out of her.
Yeah.
Hip attacks her out of the ring. This episode is all about Asuka beating the heck out of Nia Jax.
It was kind of awesome because she did it multiple times. It was great. Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
It was pretty great. This was great because Kairi Sane tweeted out like a picture of them celebrating with balloons, and there was a video of her with the recorder. And Asuka responds, "Your recorder was so great. I don't want to listen to it anymore, but it was a really nice Grammy performance. Thank you." She said, "I don't want to listen to it anymore." That's funny stuff. Yeah, this was great.
After that, we had the Baron Corbin interview. He thinks he's going to win tonight and then face Drew in the main event of WrestleMania, win again, and be WWE champion. Pipe dream, King Corbin.
He broke that mirror, man. Bad luck.
We'll be taking a lot of L's.
Yeah.
After that, R-Truth versus Bob Lashley. R-Truth had a promo before, talks about his cousin, Pretty Ricky, and he's been telling him that Lashley's been a bad man over the last few weeks. He throws some video, we come back, and he says, "I don't want Lashley put me in the Nelson from the Simpsons again."
Yeah.
And says Cena, his idol Cena, would tell him to never give up, so he's not going to give up. And he's not giving up on that 24/7 title. Tells Tom Brady he's going to come sack him. Lashley makes his way down the ring, beats the hell out of R-Truth, full Nelson, right into the full Nelson slam, another full Nelson. R-Truth taps, MVP comes out the stage, applauds Lashley, and they had to cut to Lana backstage, just screaming at top volume, throwing stuff everywhere.
It doesn't make a lick of sense. I don't know why like just a person randomly screaming. It just doesn't make sense in the moment. Anyways. After that, we had Asuka and Kairi backstage. They part ways, but Nia, quite conspicuously is just standing there in the background. So she's lurking, doing her best Dexter Lumis impression. After that, we had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, of course, the women tag team champions. They are taking on in a title match the Iconics. This is after the Iconics beat them last week. The Iconics, of course, delivered one of their Iconics promo. And
it was great when Billie Kay was yelling at the production truck to roll their clip. That's pretty funny.
She's terrific. Unfortunately, this was not the Iconics night because Peyton Royce was not paying attention to, I don't think it was Jack Daddy. I think it was somebody else, one of the refs. Because she kept on ramming Alexa Bliss, I think. She kept on giving her the shoulder to the post thing.
Yeah, kept on posting her, yeah.
Yeah, and then the ref was like, "Do it again," and I'm going to, because she did it like 3 times. He was like, "Do it again."
Royce lost her mind, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "That's it." And then she did it again, and then he DQ'd them, and they were very sad about that.
Yeah. Before we get to more of that story, Kairi's backstage playing her recorder. Nia approaches from behind and just like blindsides her, tosses her into the road case.
Yeah.
That looked nasty.
Yeah, it did.
We see Billy and Peyton arguing backstage. Billy's yelling at Peyton, "You blew it," slaps her. And Peyton says, "I can't believe you just did that." Billy says, "I can't either." She apologized, tells Peyton that she loves her.
Man, they better not break them up. Just start using them more as a tag team.
I know. They better not break them up. They're so good.
Like, they're perfect together. Why would you do that?
They're fantastic.
It's like, remember that time they broke up the Dudleys?
Yeah, they had them be drafted different shows.
Another person who wanted off the train, Ron Simmons. After that, we had a trainer attending to Kyrie. Asuka asks if she'll be okay. Then she goes searching for her, on the lookout for Nia Jax.
Yeah, she finds her.
Yeah.
She confronts her, and then Nia just walks right past her. Asuka grabs her by her hair, turns her around, kicks her right in the head. Nia is felled by this kick, and Asuka just leaves. Fantastic.
Yeah, just beats the crap out of her. And Nia's like, ow! It was pretty funny.
It was great. After that, a pretty fun match between Shayna Baszler and Natalya. Again, I wish I would have given this more time.
Yeah, this was cool, but I like that Natalya was a really sore loser after the fact. She blew up Kevin Owens' set.
Yeah, she did toss the chairs out and stuff. That was cool. This is a good submission match.
Yeah, they actually were trying to do like submissions on each other, which is cool. They're sticking to the story instead of like, Irish whips and stuff. It was good. I liked it.
It was good. In the end, though, Shayna locks in the Kirifuna clutch, then pins Natalya's arm against her body so she can't reach out for the ropes. Natty taps. But we saw a sharpshooter. We saw a heel hook. We saw an ankle lock. They were trying various holds and stuff. And like the transition that Shayna did from heel hook to the Kirifuna clutch was fantastic.
Yeah,
that
it was really
so
cool.
good.
Yeah.
That was crisp, fluid. It looked great. So yeah, Natty loses. She taps. She starts, like the ring crew's coming out, setting up for the Kevin Owens show. She just starts tossing the signs and the chairs and stuff out. She's terribly unhappy.
I love that they were like instead of going to commercial or something, because like you always think about what they're doing, like in kayfabe, what's going on. What was supposed to be happening here? Like maybe you could theorize in kayfabe they're supposed to be throwing to a shot of the commentary team or something, because they just held on Natalya throwing a fit and like ruining the next segment. It was pretty great.
It was pretty great.
After that, we had Garza, Andrade, and Austin Theory, real superstar Patrick Sparks, arguing backstage. Zelina Vega comes in, says she's tired of everybody fighting, and says that they're going to go on the Kevin Owens show all on the same page.
She changed her tune real quick about 25 minutes later.
By the way, Kevin Owens is back, and we had the Kevin Owens show afterwards. But Kevin Owens, he comes out and he notices his set is basically in pieces. But he's like, "Hey, thanks Natalya for getting rid of all the junk first. I appreciate it." Mm-hmm. He mentions that he's been gone for a little while because he had his WrestleMania moment, but it cost him. He was banged up after Mania, so he had to take a little bit of time off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So he introduces Zelina's faction. They come to the ring. Owen standing on the apron. He apologizes for the mess. I liked how Garza walked over one of the stands for the signs, and he came to a chair that was like right in the middle of the aisle. And rather he could have walked right to the ring. Instead, he stepped over that and then walked to the ring. It's just funny.
They were kayfabing the level of destruction there.
Truly.
Yeah.
So he apologized for the mess. Zelina interrupts him and says, "You're hoping for a Jerry Springer show type thing to go down here?" She's sick of people that think there's one little argument and there's dysfunction in her group. She puts over Andrade. She puts over Garza. Puts over Austin Theory. Says she's the best and the best business seen in a long time. And says you can't even show enough respect for us because you're standing out there in the apron. And Owens is like, no, it's not a respect. If anything, I'm showing you more respect by giving you the whole ring. And history has told me that whenever I'm in the ring with more than one person, I'm probably going to get beat up. Another reason I'm standing out here, give more room for our guest because we got one more. It's Apollo Cruz. He runs down.
That was
right
great.
After Andrade.
That was awesome because he booked down there and just immediately tackled Andrade. That was good. That's the kind of stuff you need to do. Yeah, he was really good tonight. So that, of course, led to a tag match. It was Apollo Cruz and Kevin Owens versus Angel Garza and Andrade. And Austin Theory, he didn't exactly help his case in this,
No.
and it led to something bad for him. Yeah,
Zelina seemed very much fine with everybody arguing with Austin Theory and then some. So towards the end, Owens gets the tag to Apollo. Andrade's in. He sees Apollo's coming in, so he runs, sprints to his corner, tags Garza in. Anyways, Cruz kicks Andrade off the apron anyways. So Zelina's up on the apron distracting the ref, and what's supposed to happen is that Garza's supposed to be pushing Cruz towards Theory, who's on the apron. Theory will hit a forearm on Cruz. However, Cruz avoids that, so Theory elbows Garza. Cruz follows that with his finish to get the win.
Yeah.
And then so he and Owens go up the ramp, celebrate. Andrade, Garza, Theory, Vega, they're all in the ring. First they're checking on Garza, and then there's a little bit of bickering, and then Andrade just drops Theory. Drops him.
Yeah.
Drops him.
They beat the living
Garza
crap out of him.
They really did. They threw him all over the barricades, threw him to the timekeeper's area. Zelina's just yelling at him that Austin Theory, you're worthless. Never should have believed in you.
And he was like trying to tell him it was an accident when like it first happened. And then they started yelling at him, oh, here's an accident. They toss him into chairs, toss him into the barricade.
It's great.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
It was great.
They leave him lying through basically the next couple segments here, because after that we got a Drew McIntyre interview with Charlie, and she asked Drew, how do you remain focused with so many challengers? And he says, I'm having fun. Monday night is a great time for a Claymore party. He puts over the Brand Invitational because there's potential dream matches there. Way to go, Drew. Way to be a company guy. I'm sure Fox would love him. Drew calls Baron a terrible human being, but does terrible things in the ring to win. Says Baron's out of his mind for coming to Raw and challenging him.
It was actually pretty. Drew was like, I know Baron very well. I've seen him in hotels. I've seen him in airports. And I could say firsthand knowledge that he's a truly terrible human being.
Yeah. He's like, I was a henchman for him once. After that, we had final preparations for the axe throwing. The Viking Raiders are just showing off. Montez. Yeah.
Throwing two axes at once. And stuff
he
like
preps for his first toss. Rowe tells him it's okay to be nervous the first time. They have performance anxiety. Montez laughs that off. Throws the axe, misses the target by a mile. It just goes flying. Back from commercial, Montez, that's right, he says, listen, I was aiming for the environment. Dawkins, you need to hit the target. And Angelo thinks the horse is clowning him.
He says, I'm tired of everybody here clowning me. Even that horse is clowning me.
Yeah. He tosses the axe into a booze barrel, and all the Vikings get upset about that because nobody likes spilled alcohol.
And then Montez offers up his cup.
Yeah. After that, but before more shenanigans go down with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, we had Alistair Black and Buddy Murphy's scheduled match for the night. And this was good stuff. These guys always put on good stuff.
Oh, heck yeah, man. So Alistair's kicking Buddy all around the ringside area. Buddy ducks one last kick, and then it's the last one because Alistair kicks the ring post. And while this is all going on, Seth starts making his way over to Austin Theory, who's still in the timekeeper area after getting his butt kicked. So he's just kind of looming over him, looking at him. And all while the match is still going on, Alistair regains the advantage. So Seth extends his hand. Theory takes it. Seth helps him up. Meanwhile, in the ring, Alistair hits Buddy with a knee, sets up for the Black Mass. Seth, without saying a word, just directs Austin to go into the ring. He does. He attacks Alistair. DQ. Alistair wins. And so eventually, though, Alistair does tackle Theory. Buddy hits Alistair with the knee. So we get a 2-on-1 beatdown with Seth directing traffic. You get Buddy hitting a Kamagoye, and then Theory hitting his finish TKO. In the end, Austin Theory embraces Seth while Buddy looks on. I like that Buddy's growing the beard out. Both he and Seth are growing the beard out a little bit. It looks good.
Yeah. I liked Austin Theory played this really good. I liked his reaction to Seth. You know, you get a good shot of him. Seth is hugging him, and first you see Austin Theory's face, and he's like, I'm not really sure what to think of this dude hugging me. But then he sort of you see him break down a little bit, and then he embraces Seth back.
Yeah, you actually see him do. I remember him doing this.
Yeah, he accepts it.
Just exhaling and just releasing that energy.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
It was good.
Now Seth has another disciple. We'll see if he changes his attire to reflect Seth's
grow the
t-shirt.
beard out. stained glass pants, all that. All day stained glass pants.
All day stained glass. There you go. After that, we had a Bianca Belair vignette. They said, yeah, we're excited to have her here on Raw. We've only seen a little bit of what she can do. So that's cool stuff.
We get the Street Profits and War Raiders axe throwing competition. I'll lay out the ground rules. You can give us the recap, Steve. So each team gets 10 axes to throw. Hit a bullseye, you get a point. If you don't hit a bullseye, you get nothing.
Yeah. Of course, the Raiders here are great at this, just like the Profits were great at basketball. Hanson at one point steals Montez's red cup. The Profits, of course, they don't know what they're doing because I imagine throwing axes is probably pretty hard if you're doing it for the first time. And Ford managed to hit the last one perfectly. Was it Ford or Dawkins?
It was Ford.
Was it? Okay. All right. So the cops show up, and they're like, hey, and there's like an axe in their windshield. That's the one that Ford had thrown earlier. And they're like, hey, which one of you did this? And the Viking Raiders, they point at the Street Profits, and Street Profits like, and they're like, okay, you guys need to throw, and we'll find out from that if you guys really did it. And then Dawkins turns around, and he hits the bullseye with his back to it. And then the Vikings all celebrate. We're going to get back to the best part of this in a second, but first, we had an Apollo Cruz interview. He was really good here. Great. People have mentioned this in chat, and I agree. I was thinking this the whole time. I want him to turn heel, man. He's going to fight Andrade for this U.S. title. I have a sneaking suspicion he might win next week, man. I have that suspicion.
No, I feel like he's going to lose, and then Kevin Owens get involved, and he's the one that's going to take the title off Andrade. That's going to upset Apollo Crews, and that might motivate his heel turn.
Could be. This is a good interview, though.
It was a great interview. So he's asked, do you have a lot to prove after missing Money in the Bank? He says, yes, these last 3 weeks have been the longest of his life. He realized, though, after spending that time thinking that he can't waste any more time, he has to do something, and now the final piece will fall into place. He's challenging Andrade for the U.S. title next week. Zelina rolls in. She tells Cruz, you have a choice before you. Either you cut your losses and walk away with that bad knee of yours, or get in the ring with Andrade and never walk again. And Cruz is like, well, I'll take my chance. By the way, where is Andrade? Oh, is he worried I'm going to slap his face off again?
Yeah.
He laughs. Zelina leaves, and then he leaves. It was really good. He seemed very comfortable. It all seemed very natural.
Yeah, it was good stuff. He needs to be a heel. Back to the axe throwing. So the cop, they have everybody sort of lined up. You know, they're all like on the principal. You know, the principal's called in the office.
Very much.
And they're like, the cop asks, you guys know how dangerous axe throwing in a park like this is? And she's like, I'm going to let you guys go. And she looks at Ivar, and she's like, because you're cute. And then she looks over at Eric, and she's like, you, not so much. And Montez starts laughing. He's like, oh, she thinks Ivar is cute, but not Eric.
It's good.
I was cracking up, man. I thought this was much better than the basketball stuff overall.
Yeah, it was. Finally, our main event, Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin.
Burn.
So right about this match is about to begin. Bob Lashley and MVP are on the stage. MVP says that he and Lashley have taken interest in this match. MVP puts over Baron. A bunch of lists of accomplishments. This is Drew. I don't need to say much more than you're holding that WWE title. But Bob Lashley has some words for you. He says, I'm here to put you, Drew, on notice. I'm coming after you in that WWE title. And if I need to pry it out of your cold, dead hands, that's what I'm going to do. He made his intentions very clear. So anyways, match starts finally. Decent back and forth. We all know Drew's going to win this, though. He hits a future shock, or goes for it. Baron pushed him in the corner, posts him, sidewalk slam. I love that Drew kicks out at one at basically everything.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, unless it's a finish or a signature, you're lucky to get a one count.
They're booking him really strong. It's awesome.
And it's good. Corbin comes off the second rope. Drew hits him with a kick, future shock, sets him with the Claymore. Baron reverses that into a deep six. I think he barely got a two there. Drew ends up reversing an end days to a headbutt, runs off the ropes, bang, Claymore gets the W.
Yeah. Solid little match. And I mean, honestly, dude, I don't know if this kind of stuff is going to help if USA wants to increase their ratings, Fox is happy with their ratings because it hasn't really moved that much. I don't really know that this is the kind of thing. I'm not sure who from Raw can come over, and who from SmackDown can come over and move a needle.
There's one name, but he's not wrestling right now. Roman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Even that you need to do something because Roman, people are so he was so overexposed for a spell. Would it really feel all that special? You know what I mean? Like they need good stories.
No, I know.
What they need.
That's like the one person on SmackDown. I feel like if he came over, yeah, they might get a bump.
SmackDown. You're right. SmackDown just feels right now like it. Well, it is a breezier show because it's an hour less. We know that. But it's just I don't know. It's just the personalities on SmackDown just feel a lot more colorful. I mean, you got Otis there for one thing. You got The Fiend. You've got Braun, who is what he is,
The anthropomorphic train. Well, not anthropomorphic. What's what's somebody combined human and mechanical? Because anthropomorphic is animal and human.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm sure there's a term for it.
I'm sure there is a term for it.
But you've got the New Day. You got Miz and Morrissey. You have like a bunch of different Daniel Bryan. Yeah. You got like a ton of like just different personalities. Raw just feels like it's suffering from lack of like, I don't know, variety. That's the only thing that sort of comes to mind. And when you have a lack of variety over 3 hours, that's a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It does wear on one. You want to do questions? Yeah. Yeah,
let's do some questions. I put up a late Patreon thread. Apologies to the patrons for getting this up right before we started filming, but sometimes that happens. Alex Foster, what activities would you challenge the Prophets and Raiders to? Either something you would beat them at or something that would be hilarious to watch you struggle.
Well, am I doing it in kayfabe to win, or if I do it for the sake of entertainment? If like I'm a producer or the creative mind behind it. Because if I'm doing it kayfabe to win, that's something I'm good at.
Yeah.
So like Scrabble.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's good. I would challenge them to some sort of drawing competition, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's good.
Although that didn't really help me on Quizlemania, so.
30 seconds isn't very long, man.
No, it's not.
It's not.
So maybe that. I don't know, like an eating competition. I think I do pretty well in. I've never tried to speed eat before though.
I haven't either. Dang MQ, I like that our truth says his boyhood idol is John Cena, even though he's 5 years older than Cena.
He's very consistent with that. I love it. That's great.
It's very funny.
Olivia, if Seth Rollins recruits someone from the women's division, who would you like to see as a disciple? I think the obvious one is Liv Morgan, because she seems to have a hard time finding herself. They seem the most susceptible, perhaps, to, for example, Seth's personality test. That's really where this needs to go, as Seth starts handing out literature saying, would you like to step over here into my office for a personality test?
And he's got the two cans, the soda cans you got to hold on to.
What is that? What?
That's the Scientology personality test. You got to hold on these two things. They're like two soda cans.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are? Like, what do they do?
No, I mean, they're supposed to like electromagnetism or something.
I think that sounded familiar.
Heel Long Heavy suited Seth taking in loser Austin Theory has strong Mr. Brody vibes.
Well, Seth was doing this prior to the Brody coming over to.
Yeah, but not prior to the Dark Order.
What's that?
But not prior to the Dark Order.
No, that's true. I don't know. Like the cults in wrestling is not like a new thing.
It's not.
Let's see here. Oh, great. Brendan wants to know what we thought about. I had not heard these comments from Vince Russo that he believed Drew McIntyre's character was lost and doesn't come across as genuine because he is sometimes funny and sometimes serious during promos. Now, I don't know if you knew this, Larson, but sometimes people can be multi-dimensional. Did I just blow your mind with that one?
No, not really, because that's like if you watch any sort of a well-done, well-executed narrative storytelling, that's what it is.
Yeah.
His characters are multidimensional. If a character is one-dimensional, guess what they usually are? Boring.
Now, one thing I will say,
Unless it's a giant, because it's easy for him to be one-dimensional. That's all that he needs.
that's all he needed, and he needed more. Brendan here says, I know you enjoy Drew's character, but do you think he comes across as genuine? I definitely think he comes across as genuine.
Yeah. He comes off as Drew being Drew.
Because of sort of the nature of Empty Arena era, it's obvious that there's one thing that's obvious that I don't think is the story is lost, is that they're booking him to be super strong. Like, he is basically, in terms of how they're booking him, the next Brock. And I think it's because Brock is going to show up for SummerSlam. I think that's going to be the thing. So I think they're booking him really strong. It's weird to have a champion without a crowd, because he's very good at playing off the crowd. The crowd really likes Drew. And so it's odd for him not to have that to play off of. That feels a little off, but then the entirety of wrestling feels off because of that. AEW's been able to adapt because they have people in the crowd a little bit better than WWE has. So, I mean, yeah, if anything feels off, it's simply Empty Arena stuff.
I don't think it has anything to do with Drew. I think he's hitting the home run every Monday night.
And on top of that, like, they're down people. I think that the Seth thing probably could have been dragged out a bit longer, to be honest with you.
Entirely possible. MC Seminole Runner with Zelina and Seth running / changing their heel factions. What are some possible face factions you like to see or could see forming on the main roster? I don't know. The Vince seems averse to face factions. Yeah,
he does. I really thought it'd been cool to have had and they weren't even on TV. Were they on TV last week? Cedric. Last time we saw Cedric and Ricochet was when they lost to Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne.
That's last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think those two guys could make a really good faction. You could really inject some personality. We both thought that's where MVP was going with them, and MVP apparently has nothing to do with Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink as of this week, anyways.
Yeah,
because they weren't around.
Gareth Nicholas, Lashley push long overdue. He should have been a legit formidable opponent to Brock Lesnar. Mania match material. Given their MMA background, it seemed like a no-brainer matchup. It really did. And maybe at some point they'll still come back around to it. But they seem to have a good thing going now with Lashley and MVP. Their dynamic seems really good. MVP has been doing great work.
Glamorous Jar here in chat points out that Ricochet and Cedric won that 6-man last week. They absolutely did. You're correct about that. Andrew Berg, should Raw take a page from New Japan's book and basically have everyone in a faction? No, I don't think they should do that. But I do think that factions should be more prevalent in WWE.
Agreed. Thank you, Dr. Jordy PI, for the sub. Omega Advent, Pro Wrestling Tees released a new Owen Hart shirt, and they look really good.
I saw those. Yeah,
the ring merch.
Yeah, they cut a deal in conjunction with the Dark Side of the Ring stuff that's coming up tomorrow night.
Leezer Liz asks, why not Ruby? I'm guessing this is in reference to which woman could join Seth's faction. If not Liv, I think Ruby would be a good choice.
Dom L agrees, of course. That was actually his question here on Patreon. Thayer Thabata, in kayfabe, is Charlie Caruso's legal name Charles? Because everybody seems to call her that. But the thing is, everybody calls her that. Well, what did Drew call her tonight? I think he called her Charlie. Yeah. I think it's just the rudos, man. It's the bad guys that calls her Charles.
Yeah.
Because they think it's rude.
Yeah. Dang MQ. Larson, who would be your top 5 worst picks for last spot casino ladder match at Double or Nothing? Who are your picks, Steve?
My picks for the last spot?
Yeah. I was starting on that when poop hit the fan. So
yeah, that's right. Let's see here. Jeff Farmer Sting.
I thought about him for my list.
So he would. The thing is that Sting, from what we know right now, is not with AEW, and let's say he doesn't sing. So Jeff Farmer would change his name. His last name would be Farmer Sting. One word, Farmer Sting, and that's how he'd get around it. Brian Lee as Fake Undertaker.
All right.
RoboCop the Tank Engine is my number 1.
Okay.
And if you want the other 2, you got to watch Friendo Club TV.
All right, fine. I had 2 names on mine. I had Ryback.
Ryback is good. I really want to see Ryback again. It's actually shocking me WWE didn't bring back Ryback.
And then I had Hogan.
That's a good one, too. I think Ryback could be a needle mover in the empty arena era, dude. For like a week, he could.
No. Omega Advent, you guys are tasked with trying to get a 5-star match out of Hulk Hogan in his prime. Who do you have him match against?
Oh, that's easy.
Well, he's putting on.
Send him to New Japan.
Yeah, he was having way better matches in Japan during that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watch one of his. Yeah, whatever that one. Who do you? It was.
He had a match against Muda that looked.
Yes, and if you watch that, it's like watching Zack Sabre Jr. Man, it's great.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I would. Let's see here. Local Doug Kokel. Who does Zelina Vega recruit next? You know what, man? I'm tired of Umberto being a punching bag. They need to turn that dude heel immediately. I know they're not going to do that. I don't want to be one of them dudes who's like, turn everybody heel, but he needs to be a heel.
I think he needs something fresh. He needs something new. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Tim Preston says, I used to watch Shane Thorne wrestle in Western Australia in the local scene. Amazing worker, and I'm so proud. Brian Lopez, Apollo with MVP and Lashley would seem great. Maybe fighting for his Money in the Bank match against Otis at Backlash. Have him win in the heel Apollo would be awesome. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Heel Apollo beating Otis for that Money in the Bank briefcase. Give it to Apollo.
Greg Morris, if Natalya is the Dolph Ziggler of the women's division and that there's nothing left for her to do, who is the Dolph of the tag division? Kind of feel like it's the Usos.
Yeah, but I still find them interesting.
Really?
At times, yeah.
I think they're good wrestlers. I think they put on good matches.
Yeah, they do.
But so does Natalya, and so does Dolph.
Yeah, Dolph's kind of sometimes. Like
well,
the
then what's
Usos
your
at least
answer?
Is
this the Forgotten Sons? There's nothing left for them to do.
The Usos reinvented themselves, and Dolph has been doing the same thing since like 2010, 2011. They never really changed things up a whole lot.
Well, then give me an answer.
Dolph and Bob Roode. Jonathan, the Disciples faction is looking like it could be stacked with talent. Anyone else you want to see join? Forgotten Sons.
Anybody else you want to see what?
Seth's faction.
The Forgotten Sons.
And I'll hang out in the junkyard. Seth can set up his church.
There you go. Oh, that's good. That's like a Fallout thing. That's good.
Yep. Let the Fiend in, which WWE superstar could break out as a movie star. They say Drew would be freaking great. I think Drew would be great.
Alexa Bliss. I think she's got a face made for the movies. She's got comedic timing. I think Alexa Bliss could easily transition to Hollywood. Easily.
Legit Haas with this Last Ride documentary. Do you think it could be leading to The Undertaker actually retiring, or will he keep up his schedule as is? I mean, that kind of seems like the narrative they're going with it, but who knows?
Yeah, I know. I still need to watch part 2 if we're going to review it tomorrow. Enforcer here in chat says, what are 2 possible names for warring Friendo Club factions? Well, number 1, I'm not huge on Friendo Club factions warring. I'm huge on them.
Here's the thing. Friendo Club, it's all inclusive.
Yeah, it's all inclusive.
No factions. It's all inclusive. The new initiative is all inclusive.
That being said, if you do want to splinter, obviously it'd be Friendo Club Wolfpack, which is right here.
Well, I mean, there's Friendoverse, the Facebook group, and you got the Discord.
And then there's the original. This one here is Friendo Club Hollywood. So that's what you do.
And then a couple years later, someone starts Friendo Club 2000.
Yeah. And then there could be a Latino Friendo Club. Friendo Club 2000. Wasn't there like a Friendo Club Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. Just look at the history of the NWO and then just do that.
Just follow that. Yeah, sure.
Just do
Tim
that.
Preston says, OMG chat, do you remember when someone asked them to cast Cats the movie as wrestlers on Matt chat? I still think about Steve's reaction and laugh about it to this day.
I think it's because that movie horrified me.
Yeah.
I think that's what my reaction was, but I'll have to go back and watch that. I don't remember it.
Oh, this is interesting. MC Seminole Runner says, so according to Wiki, it's still anthropomorphism with machines.
I saw that. I know. Isn't that crazy?
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, hey, listen, Thanks to Raycon for sponsoring today's episode. Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds offer up 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a compact, comfortable design that gives you a great noise-isolating fit.
Yeah, my Raycons have become my go-to pair of earbuds to wear while I'm working out or record a podcast like I'm doing right now. They're stylish, and they don't have any dangling wires to deal with. They sound great. They start at half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market. Pick up a pair and see what the hype is all about.
Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Right now, get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/raw. That's buyraycon.com/raw for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. buyraycon.com/raw. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with the news brief. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.